quarterback's first 4 years, he has every record known to man: passing yards, touchdowns, passer rating, everything that you can think of. In those 4 years, his defense is ass.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Let me take away with.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sideline Summit. I'm Antonio Perez, joined as always by Danny Cole, DCU Penn's finest, and Chris Culture, CB Culture Boy. We have another great episode for you guys today. Of course, we're going to be doing NBA Weekly Part 4. We're into like the thick of the in-season tournament. We're recording this on Tuesday, so it is an in-season tournament night. And we'll probably talk a little bit about that later after, of course, Summits and Plummets. And we got the usual Week 11 recap. We're going to talk a lot about of course, Stroud. We're going to talk a lot about Herbert and, the Chargers mishaps. Big Monday night game. Of course, we're going to talk about Danny Steelers, who just fired Matt Canada this morning. Very big news over there in Pittsburgh. Danny praying Mike Tomlin's done miracles on him.
Future AFC North champions.
And we'll talk about the AFC North. We'll talk a lot about the AFC North. And of course, the usuals, Hots, Locks, Summit Savings. But of course, we got to start with Summit's Plummets. Danny, you can get us kicked off.
So I'm going to go double Summit this week. Number one, Instagram created his new AI stickers. We've been making the craziest things happen out of these sports. So have fun with it. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. And it doesn't have to be sports related. It could be, as my girlfriend said, an elephant jumping on a hula hoop. But I just want to see Kelly Oubre and Jason Tatum doing some weird shit.
Yo, nah, that's come on now. The man is in the hospital, huh? Or he wasn't.
Wow. You could really say you could do a sticker of Kelly Oubre getting hit by a car. That's wild.
Yo, you have like school shooter fantasies.
What?
Yeah, you do. But
the double Summit, it's Matt Canada getting fired off Oblivion. I think Tomlin said, "Yo, you put up 10 points against the Browns, dude. Like Pickett's horrible. He's atrocious right now. But come on, dude. 10 points. 10.
Yeah, 10 points. I mean, that is the best defense in football, but like, man, outside of that one big Jaylen Warren play, like there was zero success on that offense. Nope. Yeah, but I do like the idea of them moving a little bit towards Warren and Najee, just running the rock, and hopefully they'll continue that once whoever they pick up as their next play caller. But yeah, he's done miracles. Love a double Summit. We always love a double Summit. Chris.
Well, my plummet is that I did not know about the AI stickers until just now, so I want to actually go see what that's about because I had no clue about it until y'all first showed me before we start recording.
Wait. That's what we were sending to you last night.
Yep, I had no clue. I was like, damn, what are these? Like, what the fuck? So yeah, I'll be seeing about that. Some crazy stuff is coming. So that's plummet. Summit is that the Lakers are 5-1 with Cam Reddish as a starter, and I am not giving up on Cam Reddish. I told people I wasn't beforehand, and they was calling me crazy. 5-1 as a starter, averaging 12 points, a steal, and a block, and shoot over 50% from the field, 40% from 3 and D. Shout out Cam Reddish. That's my Summit.
Yeah, dude, you fought the good fight. I'll give you that.
And I'm still fighting. I'm still fighting.
But what we also need to acknowledge, who's also off to a very hot start, Star Jay Barrett. So,
and I was trying to leave it out on purpose. He's actually been playing really good, and it's pissing me off because I can't hate. But he actually looks like what people thought he was going to be at Duke.
One would say he's looking like the best out of those 3 Duke boys.
Second best. Zion's still him.
Yeah.
He's fat, but he's still him.
He's fat. That's crazy. He fat. He got a 50-inch vert. That's unreal, man. Crazy. Okay, so my Summit I mean, all my agendas flourished this week. Let's put it that way in the NFL. Eagles beat another good Super Bowl contending team on the road. Not a beautiful game from the offense, at least in the first half. But second off, down by 10, you come back. Defense holds it down. You get 2 big turnovers and a turnover on downs. So, yeah, great game from the Eagles. We'll talk a little bit more of that later. Plummet, I'm afraid that the Celtics just traded for a higher IQ Marcus Smart, but at the end of the day, he's still Marcus Smart. I'd rather just have Marcus Smart if he's gonna be dumb anyways. Like Drew Holiday, last 2 games made some pretty bonehead errors. Jaylen Brown has been finding a very, very serious inconsistency issue. Now I don't like it because he's usually supposed to be the consistent one, but I would say Tatum. A lot of people are clowning Tatum on Twitter. It's like, oh, it's only a Monday night on League Pass in Charlotte, but he quite literally backed up what he said. Though he said in the video, he said, just because it's a Monday night game on League Pass against Charlotte, I'm gonna chill. Well, he quite literally didn't chill. He quite literally dropped 45. He quite literally had his best game of the season. Yes, he missed a free throw in the end. That's pretty brutal. He also had a missed layup at the end of near the end of regulation that could have helped put the game away. But I also put a little bit of blame on him. Yes, he has to go get the ball as the best player, but why are we even running sets where he starts at the corner is beyond me. He should be bringing the ball up. I'm going to be quite frank with you. He should be bringing the ball up every single possession. If Drew's bringing it up, fine. He's an actual point guard. Derek White's bringing it up, fine. He's an actual point guard. Jaylen Brown, he should not be bringing the ball up. With all due respect, man. He could dribble the ball.
Can he? No left hand.
You haven't been watching this year. You just sold yourself out. He's actually been pretty good with his left. Like zero BS aside, he's actually been pretty solid with the left hand. But overall dribbling could still be a little questionable. I'll agree on that.
To be fair, in the game that we went to, he didn't play.
Fairs.
That's and then
fine.
he really didn't. He didn't play that well. Actually, he had a stinker against the Sixers the first time.
Yeah, and he did that again last night against the Charlotte Hornets. So here, while we're on the topic, we might as well start with NBA Weekly. What do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about how? Here, I'll ask Chris. Chris, how have you liked the in-season tournament so far?
I was just about to say we should talk about that. That was my thought. In-season tournament actually is lit. I love it. I think it's actually fire. And the reason I think it's fire is because you can tell people taking it serious. Like, not just from what the interviews have said about them helping teammates get paid and stuff like that. Like, people want to win. And I like that part because a lot of people don't want to admit it, but the NBA gets boring. Like like you got the start NBA where everybody's hyped, and then like from like game 10 to like 40, it's like a lull in between. I think this can help that because low-key, I had to read up on the in-season tournament. Bless you. I had to read up on the in-season tournament just to make sure I had it all together. And I think it's cool about, going to Vegas. We all knew that, but like that's like it reminds me of AAU to an extent. And I think it'll bring the players back to that element and have them like, kind of playing up to their best ability. So I think it's lit. I like the courts. Some of them are a little too bright, but I like them trying something different. I always appreciate not staying stagnant. And this is like a point of that. I think this and the next thing is letting the players wear their own jerseys in the All-Star game instead of wearing an All-Star jersey. Then the NBA be 100% there. But I like the in-season tournament. I think it's cool.
Yeah, but I would agree. The Sixers have an in-season tournament game tonight. They're home. I believe their court is like a blue and red. It's very bright, but that's one of the few red courts that I'm a fan of because a lot of the other ones are doing like red on.
The Bulls one is bad. The Bulls one is bad.
That's the main one I'm referring to. That one's bad.
Wait, the Cavs is pretty bad too.
Yeah, and the Pacers. Cavs, Pacers, Bulls, worse.
Y'all know who got the best court though?
The Spurs.
I was gonna say the Raptors. The Raptors, they got the gray with the black in the middle. It is.
Yeah, I don't love the Raptors jerseys, but I like their.
Oh no! I don't like their jerseys. If their jerseys were gray, like going with the court, I'd like it. But Drake got his ties in there with the OVO stuff. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I would agree. Main point: the Kings Spurs game. It's a blowout, but point differential matters. So the Kings are still trying to put points on the board. They still got the starters out there. The Spurs are like, yeah, point differential matters. Like we can't keep falling behind. So they're playing to the end. And I absolutely love that. instead of just dribbling it out and fouling and all this other stuff, they're playing to the end, and I absolutely love it, man. I agree.
I think the one thing it stops too, just on top of that, the one thing it stops is, like you said, subbing people out with 4 minutes left. They're up 16. That's like my biggest gripe with NBA. Like, if it wasn't this season tournament, game 12, if it's a 14-point game, you know what's happening. Somebody makes a 3, timeout, 4 minutes left to empty the bench. And I think, like you said, this helps that because point differential and just like I said, people want to win. So I think that helps the most. That's my least favorite part about the NBA, honestly.
All right, everyone, favorite court. We go right across.
Well, I just said mine's the Raptors. I really like the Raptors one.
Funny enough, I like the Spurs one. Spurs one's kind of lit to me. I like the jerseys. I think that's what I like the most.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the purple. I like the Utah Jazz and then the Suns. That purple on the court looks pretty fire.
Yeah, the Suns.
I like the two. And also I do like the Spurs as well. I think it's just that is so far and away from what we know as Spurs colors.
I think that's why I like it.
But why I like their jerseys, and I like that it represents a new era. Because when Tim Duncan came in, they were good right away. Like they were already really good, kind of, because they had David.
They were good. Hella
now
good.
Wemby's coming in. There isn't someone already there. Like there's pieces for them to be great when they get older, kind of like OKC. But I mean, right now this is the worst team in basketball. But yeah, and then like Danny said, I like the Suns. I like the Jazz. Again, I already said I like the Suns.
What's up with the Clippers, man?
How they've been playing recently?
No, their court.
Their court. That's not.
Yeah, I don't love their court. Their jerseys are kind of cool, but the court is trash.
Their jerseys look like the old Wizards ones. I feel like I hope I'm not the only one who sees that.
The DC District one. Yeah, or the blue from the like Gilbert Arenas era.
Yeah, it's like a navy blue, and even the lettering kind of looks like it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking at the court now. Not the worst. There are more, like there are courts that are worse than that, but oh my god, I just found this. This is a concept one. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's a little too bright, but let's see if I can turn it down. But it's like their old like baby blue-ish stuff.
Yeah, that is kind of lit.
That one looks pretty good. I hope they go with something like that next year. Like maybe not do something so designated across the whole court. Like keep the trophy thing around the free throw line lane area. And then I don't know, like the Mavericks, they have like the skyline court. Do something like that. That would be really nice, especially for cities like Chicago, Philly, New York. Like that'll be tough.
All right, so I think the winner of the in-season tournament should get an auto bid to the playoffs. And let's say you finish in the lottery, you still keep your lottery pick.
So I get what you're saying. Like that would make it like really, really high stakes. I'm not cool if the Pistons won the in-season tournament. I'm not cool with that.
Why?
Me personally, because they're going to lose 60 games. Just because they got hot for a stretch between November and early December, I don't think they deserve to make the playoffs. Because teams can just coast after that. Like, let's say the Clippers won it. They will get exactly what they want. Literally just sit Kawhi and Paul George until it's time.
That's actually what Paul George said on this podcast, too. It's exactly what he said. Same thing.
Yes. So I do get your general. I don't think it's a horrible idea. Because, first of all, I don't think the Pistons would win it. Like, what are the chances of them going undefeated in round robin and then going to Vegas and beating they'll have to beat 3 other elite teams? Probably wouldn't happen. So I don't think it's a horrible idea. But for older teams like the Lakers, like the Clippers, or teams with a lot of stars that like you want to keep them healthy towards playoffs, it could hurt a little bit in the direction that the NBA is trying to go and making the regular season a little more impactful. But
are they playing in the
Adam
Sphere?
Silver's been ballsy, so yeah, they play in the Sphere, right? I think so.
I think they do.
I think that's really cool. And like you said about the AAU thing, you know, it'd be really cool. Designate like 15 to 20 spots, like right behind the benches, like is literally like, your team's on next, and you're watching the team before you. Give it or make him sit on the baseline. Give it like real AAU vibes. I
And
know.
that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, that'd be fire.
Yeah, I've been to. It wasn't for basketball AAU. It was for 7-on-7. Every PA person will know Spooky Nook, elite sports complex. It's huge. Everything's going on in there. We were there while a AAU tournament was going on there. Dude, it was awesome. But what was another point we wanted to talk about in the NBA? I know
It's
there was
one I want
another
to
one.
bring up. It's one I want to bring up.
Go ahead.
Zach LaVine trades. Bulls trades as a general, but Zach LaVine trades. And it's one I seen that would send him to Sacramento. And that was one I mentioned on here. I was hyped to say it because
last week.
I think that's a place where the Kings made the playoffs last year. And it was shocking, but people kind of expect the Kings to, start making the playoffs because they're a young team. And even with them having Sabonis and Fox, I'm not seeing them as being a big free agent destination. So this would be a chance to get a star free agent where he doesn't have to come in and be the guy. He can come in and be the second scorer, but really like the third on the totem pole type of person, with Sabonis being there and Fox being the guy. I think that's what they need because you can only have so many shooters. You have to have some people who can actually do something with the ball after you give it to them, especially with Sabonis not being a huge back to the basket. I'm going to just back you down and Embiid or Jokic score you. You know what I'm saying? So having LaVine will help them, and with how they play, already they play up and down. That fits LaVine's game. And LaVine signed there before the offer sheet was matched. So it's supposed to have been happened a while ago. So I think it just works. And then I think that could start the domino effect of the Bulls blowing up. And they can get back. I'm not sure if they get back from them. Maybe you get a salary filler. Maybe you get young players. I'm not sure exactly what the Bulls will want, depending on how they want to do the rebuild. But I think that's a perfect landing spot for them.
Yeah, I was like, Sacramento's not going to be playing any defense anyway. Look, if your goal is to just outscore everybody, get one of the best pure scorers in the game. Here's one from. This is just a report. The Charlotte Hornets have strong interest in Zach LaVine per Amico Hoops, senior NBA writer for the Hoops Wire. So here's the thing.
If I'm not mistaken, did I say that?
What? Did you say Hornets last week? I don't even remember.
I did say Hornets last week.
Well, I'll give you kudos. I'll give you kudos on that one.
And you guys were like, I've never heard anyone say that.
Yeah, because I don't think it's a terrible idea. But here's the thing. One, Charlotte can't afford to really give up that much draft capital, I think, from where they're at right now. But I also don't think they'll have to, maybe.
Funny enough, the Spurs own the Spurs have the Hornets lottery protected first round pick this year, too. Unfortunately.
So, say it's not much like you could really give up much either. But what a lot of people were saying, like, if you can trade Gordon, Hayward, like if you can get off his contract, you kind of just got to do it no matter what it takes. And it's not like G is a bad player. Gordon Hayward's still a really good basketball player. I just don't know how. I wish, man. On a lower deal, I take G back.
Oh, it's about to happen, Zone, because he's on the last year of that deal. So when he gets traded, if he gets traded to the Bulls, he's just going to buy him out. He'll be a free agent, yeah. So
dude, his last year in Boston, bro, he had a stretch where he was averaging like 25 and he broke his wrist. Comes back, starts getting it going, got it going during the playoffs, and then like game 4 against the Sixers, tweaked his ankle, was out all the way until like game 4 or 5 of the Heat series. Like, dude, they would have swept Toronto if he was playing, and they probably would have beat the Heat that year. But I mean, the Heat are the Heat, so I'm not gonna, speculate too much. But yeah, kudos to Danny for calling that, because it's not like a horrible, trade idea. And it's like, what are the Hornets, man? Like, are they bad? Are they good? They can clearly hang with any team with their offense.
They just need to get more talent. That is the thing. And that's why I think LaVine, like Danny said, Danny being spot on per usual, that I think it just works. Like, they need more talent. There's no – same thing with the Kings. There's no free agents going to sign with the Hornets right now, no matter how good they look. There's no free agents going to go there. They're going to have to overplay for a restricted free agent. If you're going to do that, get a guy who's proven already. And then just think about how it works. Like Danny said, you got Melo, LaVine, Brandon Miller, RTB Bridges, and you got Mark Williams. That's a start with talent. So it's a start with talent, and you got something special in Brandon Miller. So I think he's gonna be special. So
and Danny's favorite prospect coming out the draft was Brandon Miller.
Indeed, you're right again. I was wrong. Thank you, Danny. You was right. I was wrong.
Paul George variant. It's true. He's Miles Morales.
It's gonna sound really crazy. I was doing a 2K rebuild, and I was with the Hornets, and it's gonna sound really casual to me. I was like, "Who's this Mark Williams guy? He sounds like an AI generated player."
No, Mark Williams is tough.
But he was a beast at Duke. I was so hyped for him. To go to the NBA, but he didn't have a great first year. But he was so good at Duke.
He balling this year. He just had a 2020 on Porzingis' dome top. So
but he's Mitchell Robinson 2.0 at worst.
Mitchell Robinson.
I mean, look, if he can defend and catch lobs from Melo, you got a place in Charlotte. So
perfect. He could be either Clint Capella or Mitchell Robinson, easy at worst.
Y'all see the story that Mitchell Robinson's like 19 dogs?
For real?
Have you ever seen Mitchell Robinson in the offseason playing open gym? He's like Michael Jordan. He has handles and can shoot threes, everything. You'd be surprised.
Bro turns into Kevin Durant in the open runs. So I have one more point. I actually wanted to ask about the Hornets before we get into some football. Sorry, I dropped my pen. Okay. LaMelo's on a tear, to say the least. He's on an absolute tear. Is LaMelo Ball versus Anthony Edwards a conversation again?
Not yet.
Don't think so?
Because LaMelo's after LeBron, LaMelo's my favorite player. Like going forward, like I already said it years ago. He's just got to be more consistent because LaMelo's going to have this stretch, and then the next 10 games you got to see how he plays. Because even though with the turnovers and shot selection, whatever, that's going to be what's going to be. But he's had times where he's just been bad for long stretches, and they get on that 8-game losing streak, win 2, lose 6. That's how the Hornets are bad. I think Anthony Edwards is the opposite of that. Like even if he's not playing great, he's affecting the game in so many ways. So I think LaMelo has a little work to be able to do that. Because I think LaMelo has less talent than Ant. 100%, but I think the way Ant affects the game, even when he's not scoring, is just a little on a different level than what Melo is right now, consistently at a consistent level.
Yeah, I could tell you Anthony Edwards. I'll give you like his last 5 or so games, and this isn't like the end all be all. I'm just telling you what they've been doing lately. So Anthony Edwards in his last 5 games, we got 23, 10-5, 23, 3-4, 13, 4-4, 24-4, and then 33, 6-7. That's going from latest to about last week. And then for Melo, who started off the season slow, opposite of Edwards, who started off the season hot, Melo's last 5 games. Here's LaMelo Ball's last 5 games: 36, 9-8, 36-9 with 8 threes, 37, 5-5, 28, 6-11, 32, 7-6. So, like you said, like Melo, he needs to obviously be a little bit more consistent going forward. But hey, same thing can be said for Anthony Edwards. He's finding his footing as the true number 1 option on the Wolves. I would say still, there's been a couple good Karl Anthony Town games to help him, through. Not that those are bad. The 13-point game is a bad game, but those other games are they're just okay games. But if you want to be a top 10 player in this league, you want to be the top shooting guard in this league, that's not acceptable. But I mean, in terms of this Melo versus Ant-Man debate, I personally think Melo has made his way back into the conversation. Danny, you have any word on that? Any bit on that?
Nah, not really. Honestly, I don't have anything. I think you took all the words out of my mouth on this topic.
Yeah, last time I checked, I think Danny's a fan of both. So he's.
I think the one thing for
I used to fight the good Melo fight, but Edwards shut me up for a little bit. But trust me, we'll be back.
think the one thing for Melo though, people thought I think Anthony Edwards has been a better player, but I don't want to get people confused. Like the talent has always been close. Like I think that's what people were messing up. Like LaMelo wasn't as talented almost. Like Ant was playing better, but LaMelo, I think the talent was always close. I feel like people shouldn't forget that though, too.
I say my last note on him on these two is Edwards, very willing and good defender. LaMelo, again, has the traits to be the better defender. It's just a matter of, is he going to buy in? I feel like every time he plays the Celtics, I don't know why, I feel like he does buy in. He guards Tatum I feel like a fair share amount. I could be wrong. The stats might prove that wrong. But any last words on Ant-Man versus Melo from you guys?
No, I think it's close.
Yeah, I mean, the debate is back, but nonetheless, we're going to get into the NBA. We're going to get into the NFL. We're just doing the NBA. We could talk about Danny. I mean, we could talk about Matt Canada's firing. What does that mean for the Steelers going forward? I'll let you handle this, but try to take. I'm asking you because you know the most about the Steelers, but yeah, what's the future for the Steelers right now, at least for the rest of the season?
Yeah, nothing's changed. We still have Kenny Pickett quarterback. That's a main problem. So I like Kenny Pickett. I like him as a dude. He has been awful the last few weeks. He's missed. Like I get it. The Browns are one of the best defenses, and you're flustered, but he's missed a lot of open reads. He just bails the pocket early. He's like Jalen Hurts with no legs. Because Hurts early in his career used to bail the pocket early, but then he used to make something happen. Pickett does that and then just does nothing.
Yeah, I could definitely see where you're coming from on that one. Like when he bails the pocket, it's zero plan. Like look upfield, see what I got, or I'm just gonna take off and run. Here's the thing with Hurts. Hurts will bail the pocket. Even if he had no intention of throwing the ball, at least he had a plan. Like at least he decided I'm just gonna take off. Like it gives me a head of steam going downhill. I squat 600 pounds. I'm gonna make something happen bare minimum. If my arm does not have enough zip yet to do it. Kenny's kind of the same thing. He doesn't have Jalen's, mobile ability. I'd agree. Yeah, I've said for weeks, like Canada's a bad play caller, no doubt about it. I'm not questioning that. But if the players on the field cannot execute the plays, you have to look beyond just the coordinator, and I believe it does start with the quarterback. I think they found some pretty good success running the ball. So whoever they fill him in with on play calling, just keep going toward it. Maybe even shift a little bit more towards Jalen Warren. Still sprinkle in Najee, of course. I like his power back ability, but yeah.
One thing about the Steelers that people don't get, I think a lot of people think George Pickens is someone who he's not. He is a good Mike Williams variant. He's a good jump ball receiver. He doesn't make much happen after the catch that often. Sometimes he can. I'm not saying he can't do anything after the catch, but he's not Stephon Diggs after the catch. He's not Justin Jefferson. He's not going to make two guys. Deontay Johnson is much better after the catch than George Pickens. And
yeah, that's the
guy you want in open space. And I think people think George Pickens should be getting the ball like 10, 12 times a game, which is not the truth.
That's not sustainable, man. You can't give him 10 to 12 contested catches.
No,
I mean, yeah.
I mean, he does every time he gets the ball, like underneath, he tries hurdling somebody, which I've never seen anyone ever do.
Yeah, but he's ridiculous. But yeah, I believe, hopefully a new coordinator can get Deontay in space. I agree, absolutely. They're quite literally kind of like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, except they're just both better. But take a page out of their book, like make it. I want to say simple, but like at least use your guys right. Like put Pickens downfield. Get Deontay out, like around the sticks type of routes. Things like that. Get Jalen Warren running options out the backfield. Just make something happen. Try to make the offense a little more dynamic, I would say.
Wait. Eddie Faulkner will take over offensive coordinator duties, but Mike Sullivan will take the bulk of play calling responsibilities.
That's very interesting. We'll see how that plays out for those two. We can shift gears to the other two AFC North team. Well, we can get back to the Browns in a second. Just for a little bit. But I don't think there's much to discuss on the Bengals. Burrow is hurt. Their season is over. For the Ravens, though, even though they didn't have much to stop because Burrow was out, offense still rolled. Chris, what did you see from the Ravens this week? What did you like? I know it's been, almost a week since then, but, the wins stick. You enjoy the wins.
I've seen sadness. I've seen sad times. I've never been sadder to see somebody get hurt. When I seen Mark Andrews get hurt and he did his fingers like this, I wanted to start crying. Because I knew it was something bad. But good news is he may not be out for the season. So I wanted to get that out the way. Hope Mark Andrews is back. Prayers up for my boy. But what I saw from the offense was consistency. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to see a team that can move the ball against a good defense, bad defense, doesn't matter. Just be consistent and moving it in different ways, not just pounding the rock. Share it around a little bit. That's what I wanted to see. And I want to see our defense be consistent. Not be consistent, continue to play how they play. And that's what they did. Takeaways, they're gonna hold you to not that many points. Like I love the defense. This is my favorite defense since the Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs time. If you know, back then. This is my favorite defense the Ravens have had. I wish we had more help on the corners, but with the way our front seven plays and Roquan and how Pat Queen is doing, we're okay at corner for now. So I was happy to see that. It was messed up to see Joe Burrow be hurt and not be able to really compete, so I could really see our defense against a high power, Bengals offense without Jake Browning. But for who they were up against, and that's who you got to beat. And like everybody says in NFL, any week, any team could lose. I like how they handle business and didn't have a letdown because Burrow got out. Like I could easily see them like, all right, taking the foot off the gas a little bit because he wasn't playing, but they didn't do that. So I was happy to see my team roll, man. They look good. They look like they're focused, and that's what I'm most happy about. And seeing Odell have a couple good weeks in a row, I can't be happier.
I would say the same thing. The same thing happened in LA for Odell. Like first or second week, he didn't have a big game, but he caught 2 passes, caught a touchdown. Next game, he had like a serious like Odell game, and I think he's starting to find his footing in Baltimore. I think obviously, him, Zay Flowers, Nelly, they're gonna have to have, bigger roles now. You don't have Mark Andrews, which is huge because he's the by far best receiving threat that Lamar has. But I also think this is a good time to get Mitchell more involved because he's that guy, and he's very good. And I think you have a bevy of run. You got him. You got Gus Edwards. You have your quarterback, who is actually the best runner between all 3 of them.
Yep.
Except that runner can throw 60 yards downfield. So, the offense can get very dynamic. I think John Harbaugh and the crew, they try having fun because yep. Mark Andrews is out. Experiment with all these weapons. And I thought they played really good.
I want to see them get Likely involved because was it Troy Aikman? Whoever was doing the podcast, the broadcast, they said that Likely's like great at catching, which Likely's great at catching. He's not as good a blocker as Mark Andrews, but he can catch really well. So I'd even like to see them open up the offense a little more with him, playing more in the, not necessarily as a receiver, but not kind of in that mode with Mark Andrews.
He ain't scammed Likely. He's scammed for sure.
Exactly. Come on now. He ain't anytime touchdown Likely. He anytime touchdown for sure. Next week. Let's bet it.
I sent a quick note in the chat. Mike Sullivan, the Steelers' new offensive play caller, he went to college at Army. So that means Najee and Warren are running that triple option probably.
Confirmed.
I did not think your offense could get more boring. It's over.
Hey, we'll probably get better. We're probably getting better with that happening.
Okay, so before we talk about Eagles Chiefs, which was like a potential, like the most likely Super Bowl preview we've had of the season so far. Let's talk about the Chargers. Let's talk about Justin Herbert. He's kind of like the main vocal point, at least for me, on this episode. I have seen this before. Let me not lie. But what Justin Herbert is going through in Los Angeles is unreal. Like,
wait, he went to the same thing at Oregon.
Here's the thing. At Oregon, the only reason he couldn't be himself, they just didn't let him throw the ball downfield. But of course, there was a lot of talent. It's Oregon. But here's what they do. I'm not trying to say the man doesn't have weapons when they are healthy. Because when they are healthy, when they're healthy, Justin Herbert is the second best quarterback in the league. That is absolutely how I feel about him. I like his traits. He's 6'5", rocket arm, very accurate, can run when need be. Did a really good job running this past week. He was doing it all for the Chargers. And the fact that they put up 20 points is not a reflection on him. You have 2 red zone drops by Keenan Allen. You have Quentin Johnson, who has not done a damn thing all season, is an absolute liability on the field. When you are trying to be the X receiver with Mike Williams out, you're trying to make him the X receiver. He's not aggressive at the catch point. He doesn't win his routes at the line of scrimmage, and he doesn't win them downfield. He's essentially not a good starting wide receiver, to put it blatantly. And this is nothing new. The Chargers, while you got Mike Williams, you got Keenan Allen, these dudes have a tough time staying on the field. And making those your primary weapons and then paying your quarterback all this money so that when they get hurt, now you don't really have anything to fall back on. Now you're expecting your quarterback to make something out of Quentin Johnston is not going to happen. Brandon Staley, here's what I'll give Quentin Johnston credit for. He took accountability for his drop. It's that simple. And Brandon Staley needs to learn that. What he's trying to prop up is that his defense we've had good games. We held them to 23 points. Jordan Love threw for 300 yards. You have zero shame. None at all. You just let Jordan Love throw 300 yards. I'm a Jordan Love believer. I think he's going to start picking it up. You're so unserious, man. He's such a bad head coach, and he takes zero responsibility. And I cannot wait for him to be gone. Justin Herbert has put up an unbelievable. He has every, like, in a quarterback's first 4 years, he has every record known to man: passing yards, touchdowns, passer rating, everything that you can think of. In those 4 years, his defense is ass. It is horrible. And I can't wait for either Bill Belichick to show up or for Justin Herbert to leave, because this is so bogus. He's going to be caught up he's going to be called the next Phillip Rivers, and it's going to be considered a bad thing because they both never won a Super Bowl. But this quarterback can win a Super Bowl. I promise you. Even with the offense he has currently constructed, they're just old and they're not healthy, and it's not going to work for him because he's like 25. He can't deal with this forever. And of course, in the first round, you're supposed to draft a receiver. You got Jordan Addison on the board. You have Zay Flowers on the board. And you took Quentin Johnston because you felt like you needed an outside receiver. They focus way too much on fit and not actually a good player. And to end this rant, Austin Eckler is exactly who I said he is. He is not a top 10 running back. He is a horrible running back. And he's done. He's done. He's washed.
Slow. You gotta unhook the trailer,
he's slow. Man. He's slow. And he literally is in the NFL off fantasy value. Chargers suck. Herbert's good. Agenda's thriving. Whew. Thank you.
Hey, Jacob, I feel for you, man. You're out there somewhere.
Prayers, brother. Prayers.
He's one of the Chargers fans ever. I don't know.
He's one of the about 10 of them.
Yeah.
In the history.
It's him, that Asian lady, and 8 people across the world.
That Asian lady is also a Vikings fan, so she might not count.
I think they said that was for like a peewee football thing, but hey, whatever. I don't know. She could be an industry plant. I have no clue. She could be Austin Reeves. I don't know.
She's Jack Harlow of football fans. IDK.
She's Austin Reeves, I'm afraid. He's a real industry plant.
I think you just took that segment and ran with it.
I'm sorry.
I think you legitimately just wrapped up Week 11 for us because you put everything in the words about Justin Herbert and their Charger struggles. At some point, I think they're going to try to do the right thing and just let Staley go at the end of the year. At this point,
let him go now. Let him go now, because they'll get interim powers going against the Ravens, and that's very important. When you get an interim head coach, you don't lose.
That's fine with me.
Not fine for Chris, but
not at all. Not fine for me.
If the Ravens could beat a team in their first week starting interim coach, Ravens winning the Super Bowl. They're that different.
Yeah, but you forgot the Ravens have to beat the Steelers in Week 18.
Oh my God, Tomlin Black Magic, Pickett breakout game, George Pickens 2 touchdowns, T.J. Watt breaks the sack record.
Oh my God.
Under the lights, Pickett is always insane. I don't know what it is.
The daylight is too bright for him.
He's like the opposite of Kirk Cousins. Speaking of that, if the Bears do draft, I would like to make this known. If the Bears draft a quarterback or the Vikings decide to keep Josh Dobbs, as a Steelers fan, I'd be happy to have Kirk Cousins or Justin Fields.
Kirk would eat with Pickens and Deontay.
Yeah, Kirk
no doubt.
Kill. Kirk would be over there wilding.
Kirk would kill, and just like they say, crack kills. But also, Justin Fields would eat.
Elite. Him and Najee Harris back there run the option. I need it.
Come on now.
Just into my
all right. Real quick to wrap up Week 11, we'll talk about the Eagles-Chiefs games. Danny, what did you see out of Eagles-Chiefs? What did you think of that very messy game?
What I saw was the first team that somehow shut down A.J. Brown.
That's true.
And it gave the Eagles fits in the first half.
Credit my guy, L'Jarius Sneed. Yes, sir.
Nah, I think it was McDuffie trailing him a lot more.
I think Sneed was – it was mostly a combination of both. I think Sneed got most of the matchups, though, due to, like, the size, the physicality aspect. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Whoever was guarding Devontae Smith, wrap it up, man. You can't guard that man. Come on. But yeah, sorry, continue.
Nonetheless, I think the Eagles-Chiefs game was a preview of this year's Super Bowl potentially. I still stick with my Eagles versus Jaguars Super Bowl because I think the Jags, when they're hot, can beat any team in the league.
I believe so. Yeah. And this week their offense looked really good. Calvin Ridley had 2 touchdowns?
2 touchdowns.
Makes up for the
Trevor
2 times
Lawrence
I
had
bet
2
on him to
touchdowns.
score and didn't happen. But
yeah, Trevor Lawrence had 2 rushing touchdowns. He looked very good. And I mean, they're playing the Titans, but it's a division rival. You got on smoked a division rival. That means a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but we're talking about the Eagles Chiefs. Devonta Smith, he made a joke. He's like, I'm 1 yard short of 100 yards again. He can't get over the mark. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, man.
We didn't see an MVP solidified game for Mahomes or Hurts, which turns me to think Tyreek Hill is my front runner for MVP.
I guess if any year you could give it to a wide receiver, I would say this year. I think that's fair.
There are 4 quarterbacks that I think you could give it to. I'm going to say the 3 that I think are definite are Hurts, Mahomes, hate me or don't hate me, and Brock Purdy.
I can't put Brock Purdy in there.
I think
I can't put in there. It's Lamar Jackson. I know. I think Lamar has had back-to-back decent weeks. He didn't really do anything special the last 2 weeks.
I would say Purdy's been pretty good as of late, but that 3-game stretch was
Purdy's had 158 passer rating. He had a perfect passer rating last game. Last night our quarterback to do that was Joe Montana. I don't like the man. I'm a known Purdy hater, but I gotta start giving this man appropriate love. He's leading this team. No matter the weapons, I don't think Jimmy G's doing what he's doing.
No, none at all. And that's something I'll agree with you on. Is Brock Purdy is absolutely the best quarterback that Shanahan has had so far. Okay, but back to Eagles Chiefs real quick.
RG3 is trust.
Fairs, but with Eagles Chiefs, one thing I would say, a lot of people seem to the Eagles got so lucky because Travis fumbled and Mahomes threw a pick and there were all these drops, and 1, that's a lot of ifs. 2, they punched the ball out. Bradley Roby punched the ball out of Kelsey's hand. That's not really luck. That's more good play on the defense. And Kevin Byard picking off Mahomes in the red zone is, again, skill. Mahomes isn't so good that when he throws a pick, it's luck. Okay? Like, they made a lot of good plays. And yeah, you get a little bit of luck at the end with some drops. But at the same time, every game they've lost this year has been due to poor receiving core. So that's a very valid reason that the Chiefs lost a game. Is nothing. I don't really think it has anything to do with luck. To be quite honest, the Chiefs couldn't win a game that Jalen Hurts threw 150 passing yards in. Skill issue, I will say this though, Mahomes played really good in the first half. Eagles made adjustments, shut out Desai. He made very good adjustments in the second half to slow down the Chiefs' offense. As for Brian Johnson, some questionable play calling in the second half, but the offense did pick it up. Hurts actually called the audible on the go route to Devontae Smith that set up the 1-yard brotherly shove. Just gutty win. You love to see that. Since they lost to the Jets against, I believe, was it Miami? It was Miami Commanders, then Dallas, correct?
Yep.
I believe so. And then Chiefs. 4-0. They got Bills, Niners, Cowboys again, Seahawks coming up. If you're the Eagles, you're all in this gauntlet, you're already 4-0. So now you're going into the back half of it. What are you about to say, man?
Is the Commanders part of the gauntlet?
I don't know. Did you watch Sam Howell play against them? Yeah, it's a fucking gauntlet, man. The dude has pent-up aggression against the Eagles. It's part of the gauntlet.
Just the Eagles, though. Just the Eagles.
Just the Eagles. If he played the Eagles 17 times a year, MVP that kid. But
if he played the Giants 17 times a year, he's back to the XFL.
I'll say this. Who's more part of the gauntlet, Commanders or Seahawks?
Seahawks, for sure.
I doubt it.
I
think that once the Eagles get around that, My God, they're gonna do
No,
numbers on Seattle.
I agree, but the Eagles. I hold me to this. I need to look up the stats. I don't think the Eagles have beat Seattle for the last 5 times they played.
They haven't beat Russell Wilson the last 5 times they played. Which, yes, Seahawks, but it's a Russell Wilson problem. I promise. His escapability in his prime was completely unfair. So there's that. But yeah, nonetheless, Eagles about to run the
Ready?
table. Trust. We locking up the division by Christmas.
The last time the Eagles beat the Seahawks, take a guess.
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
And then before then, it was 2002.
That's rough, man. That's rough. I can't lie.
The
Well, I mean, we
yeah,
do play them every couple of years, but
The Eagles' all-time record against the Seahawks is 3-8.
yeah, it's brutal. We're gonna get back though.
2 of the wins came in 2001 and 2002. George Bush was president.
Yo, come on. Yo, pre 9/11. Oh no, post, I guess. But
A week after 9/11.
yes. Ooh. So all right, we can head into
Week 12.
week 12.
We
here,
have 3 games on Thursday. We have
Yeah.
1 game on Friday. So
What game are we most thankful for this Thursday? We have Packers Lions, Commanders Cowboys, and Niners Seahawks.
Packers Lions is on every year. Commanders Cowboys is going to be the largest CeeDee Lamb takeover fest if he plays.
Yeah, I'll talk about that Cowboys game later in Summit Savings, but yeah. So are we
Yeah.
all thankful that for the game we're thankful for this Thanksgiving is Niners
The 8 o'clock
Seahawks?
slate.
Yeah,
For sure.
indeed.
Yep.
Indeed.
Let's talk about the game. I mean, the Seahawks are. I mean, look, they're 6-4. They're probably going to get dog walk in this game, to be quite honest. But
They win. They win
Yeah.
a close game.
Yeah, I got
You
the
think the
Seahawks
Seahawks-
winning. That's great. I got the Seahawks winning.
y'all both got the Seahawks winning.
Yep.
Yep.
Funny enough, I don't even know why. I just do.
I was about to ask y'all
Just
how,
vibe.
but I mean, if you're going off the power of friendship, I guess I can
I'm
ask
going
Danny.
off vibes, and I'm going off. I'm going off vibes, and I'm going off of, just I want Brock Purdy to lose. That's all. I'm hating on Brock Purdy today. I don't know why.
I told you.
Okay.
It's
So what, Danny? Why do you think the Seahawks will win? If it's vibes, I'm cool with that. But
It's not vibes. The Seahawks have lost the last 2 years, the last 3 games against the 49ers because of their tackles being young, their tackles not being able to hold up against Bosa, and now it's going to be Chase Young.
yeah,
My understanding is that their tackles and their offensive line have played better this year. Their defense is up there with all the defenses in the league. Lockett, my understanding is Lockett's getting healthier. Their run game's getting healthier with Charbonnet and K9. And I just have this weird premonition that the Seahawks take this very early lead, just like they did in the playoffs. I don't know if you remember that playoff game. The Seahawks were rolling early against the Niners. Then the Niners, it was just Niners football, baby. But I think it's very similar. I think the Niners have proved they can't play from behind. Last year, they couldn't play from behind against the Eagles in the playoffs. They just kind of played very pathetic. You could say Purdy got hurt, whatever. They weren't coming back with Purdy. They weren't coming back with Jesus Christ himself. They just couldn't do
it. Yeah, fairs. So here's what I'll say. Here is the Niners are winning this football game, but I'll indulge on the vision of a possible Seahawks win. Pete Carroll is one of the best defensive coaches in the game today. He blossomed the Legion of Boom, and he's blossoming a new Legion of Boom with the youngins over there and Jamal Adams. Here is the vision. Every time Brock's lost this year, granted his team got injured, but granted it was defensive masterminds, Jim Schwartz, and it was Brian Flores. They were throwing things at him, that confused him, giving him different looks. Even in the Vikings case, the Vikings don't got a great defensive personnel. They just have Brian Flores. Seahawks, luckily enough, they have a good defensive personnel, and they also have Pete Carroll. So if they can fluster Purdy and the offense can somehow get some big plays going on, then maybe I can see it. I just absolutely see the Niners dogging them, though. For like you said, the tackles have played better. The edge rushing could not be any better at this moment for the 49ers. I mean, you got Chase Young with his dog, Nick Bosa. I will say, though, with Halfonga out for the year, we'll see maybe if Tyler Lockett getting healthy can take the top off of the defense. DK can eat underneath. JSN can get a little bit more involved. He's starting to pick up a little bit of steam. But, yeah, I got San Fran.
That's a rough injury for Hufunga. Prayers up to him. I know how.
Yeah,
it feels.
for sure, man. Young star, man. Yo. All right. And then, hold up. For the first time ever, there's a Black Friday game. Dolphins Jets. We could keep this
Black
one
Magic
quick.
game.
You think Tim Boyle pulling out the Black Magic and getting the win?
Hell no. I think Skylar Thompson could beat the Jets before Tim Boyle wins the game.
All right, real quick. Well, this is the more interesting question. Miami is favored by 10 points. They covering?
Yeah,
they're covering by 17.
Okay. All right.
We're on the game with 2 Tyreek Hill touchdowns, 14-0. That's what's good. That's what's start the game. First touchdown, bet it today, right now.
All right, we can move on to.
Wait, yo, these apps should add touchdown order, like Tyreek Hill first and third touchdown. That would be fire.
I think you can add. I thought you could add second touchdown score.
On some DFSs you can.
I think live bet you can.
You could probably parlay first and second touchdown score and get. Oh my god!
If you just get one of those right, just get it right one time, you probably set for life. That's probably crazy.
So there aren't too many exciting games. Here's one I want to talk about. So the Jags get to play the Texans again. Jags are 7-3. Texans are 6-4. If the Texans win, they take the lead of the division, obviously, with the head-to-head. If the Jags win, they create a 2-game separation. What do y'all think the Jags have to do differently this time around to not get absolutely embarrassed how they did the first time?
Play how they played last week. Exactly like that. Do that, and they won't get embarrassed. That's my thing. And I think also, too, they kind of took the Texans lightly the first time. I don't think they were serious. I don't think they were thinking that the Texans were serious. So I think that's probably be the biggest change.
Yeah. You have to get really more involved.
I think they need to realize what CJ Stroud is. Take some things out of that Bengals game. They put pressure on him. He threw picks.
Last week he threw 3 picks. Yeah. So
I think you're kind of crazy saying there's not many good games. The Eagles play the Bills. The Bills could backdoor a playoff spot if they make a run. I think 10 wins.
I said there's not. I didn't say that was the only good game. I said there was a few good games. A lot of these are kind of stink bowls, mediocre fest.
Eagles Bills might be a stink bowl. It could turn out to be a stink bowl. But pre-game, looking at the game,
this is the Philadelphia Eagles we're talking about. You think this is going to be a blowout?
They're wearing Kelly Green. I'll give you that one.
That last time they wore Kelly Green, they actually got their biggest win of the season, which was a 14-point win against the Dolphins in a rather questionable play calling game. I was there. We were there, and then we went to the casino. Got the parking spot paid for. Got the food paid for. But
easy dub.
Come on now.
But
yeah.
Yeah, that game should be a great game. 2 top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. Yes, I'm saying Josh Allen's still a top 5 quarterback. Top 8 at the worst in the NFL. He turns the ball over, but what he does when he elevates the offense at that level, it's just elite. Trevon Diggs, you're wrong. Your brother is important to him, but that's just like saying AJ Brown's important to Jalen Hurts. I wonder why. He's a good receiver.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about Diggs and Brown today. How every time they're seen being mad on the sideline, it's like, oh, they're a diva and all this. I'm like, sure, have that opinion, but here's the reality: Hurts and AJ Brown are best friends. I'm pretty sure Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen are probably pretty good friends at this point. So, just like what friends will do, if they're disagreeing on something, they're going to argue. It's not a I don't like you thing or I despise you thing. It's you're my friend and I expect more out of you. And half the time, I don't even think Diggs is mad about Allen. I think he's probably mad about different things. And another point I wanted to point out with that, Diggs and Brown were Pro Bowl level wide receivers before they got traded to where they are now. I think Hurts and Allen need a lot more credit for helping those guys get to where they were. Like AJ Brown was not a 1,400-yard receiver before he got to Philly, and Stephon Diggs wasn't an all-pro wide receiver before he got to Buffalo. I think when a lot of people are like, "Oh, this young quarterback needs their Stephon Diggs, they need their AJ Brown." What if that young wide receiver needs his Josh Allen, his Jalen Hurts? I truly think it goes both ways, and I think a lot of the times those two quarterbacks don't get enough credit. It's like y'all know that Drewski skit where it's like, I changed this broke boy's life, and it's like that's how people feel about Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. When in reality, it could be the other way around. Like Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, match made in heaven. Hurts Brown, match made in heaven. They benefit off of each other.
Caleb Williams, George Pickens, match made in heaven.
Boy,
you better. Caleb Williams, DJ Moore. What?
You mean Bo Nix?
No. Oh my gosh.
Bo Nix, top 10 draft pick.
I'm not opposed to Bo Nix in the second or third round as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Honestly,
I would say if you get to the second round, you need a quarterback, Jaden Daniels or
Michael Penix.
Michael Penix, freak.
Not Penix.
You're crazy.
He's better. He's the best quarterback coming out of the class.
Nah. We're not doing that. Let's be real.
The game film.
Spencer Rattler's QB3.
Spencer Rattler probably staying in college.
6-year senior.
Spencer Rattler going to the CFL.
No, he would be a super senior. All right, so we can get into hots and locks if y'all.
Yeah, we can get into hots and locks. Two quick games I'd like to mention: Patriots Giants playing for the number 1 overall pick this week.
Caleb Williams Bowl.
It's like the Jets versus Jags a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And Steelers Bengals. I hate to be a homer, but the Bengals are playing for their playoff lives with Jake Browning. Bum.
Long story short, it's over. It's over for Cincinnati, man. It's over.
Yeah, it's pretty much over. But yeah, I think Mike T pulls without Joe Burrow. Jake Browning might get sacked 4 times with TJ Watt coming after him.
Yeah, I'd agree. But yeah, we can get into hots and locks. Anybody want to go first? I mean, I could go first if y'all want. So I'm gonna keep all the games on Sunday. I'm just gonna say that now. Okay, so my hot take for the week is Chargers over Ravens. I would never stop fighting the good.
I like that.
I would never stop fighting the good fight for Justin Herbert. So Chris, it's not personal, dog. I promise. I will root for Lamar to have a great game, and I'm probably still gonna win, but Herbert needs to win, man. He needs to win. I can't
that game scares the absolute out of me for real. Honestly.
No, the Chargers are just the type of team to beat the Ravens.
Literally.
The Ravens are the type of team to let Quentin Johnson have a breakout game.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen. Austin Eckler is going to have 150 yards rushing and receiving combined. Justin Herbert's going to throw for 275 plus. Quentin Johnson's going to have the best game of his life, and Keenan Allen's going to do nothing. But you're going to be like, dang, the Ravens should have won. They're going to lose 27-14. Watch I said it.
Oh my God! I remember that was Lamar's. I think his first playoff game was against.
It was, and he lost.
Chargers, unfortunately, but he had a good second half. So.
Yep.
And what is your hot? What is your lock?
No, that was my hot, not my lock. Don't do that. My lock. I'm gonna go Steelers over Bengals because I have zero faith in Jake Browning. So there's that.
All right, Jake Browning, prove him wrong. Do not do that, please.
What do you want to lose? He need Drake May bad.
No, I don't want.
You can go next though.
I think Drake May is mid.
No way. He's baller.
I think he's QB2.
I think he's mid too.
I think he's QB2, but I think he's like Mitch, man.
I don't see that at all. I think he's so much better than Mitch. Coming out at least he has several years of playing under his belt. Mitch played 10 games and they deemed him better than Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. It was crazy.
I do say he's like, I just don't see I feel like to be drafted as a number 1 or 2 overall pick, you have to be star shocking for me. Like I would take Marv at number 2.
It depends who you are. I would take Marvin number 2
anything.
over May, but it depends on your team. But if you need a quarterback, Drake May is absolutely an answer, dude. He's baller. Anyway,
Yeah.
Danny, if you want to get into your hots and locks, if you'd like.
Yeah, my hots and locks. My hot of the week is the Broncos keeping a win streak alive and beating the Browns. It's going to be a defensive slugfest. But Russell Wilson has things rolling in Denver. And don't look now. The Denver Broncos are currently 5-5.
Yes, they are on that little 3-game win streak.
And you know what they got on their schedule coming up after that?
No.
They got the Texans, beatable. Chargers, beatable. Lions, it should be a good game. Patriots, Chargers again, and the Raiders.
It's possible.
A lot of division games. They have to go like 5-2 the rest of the season.
Let's see what Mr. Unlimited's got.
I mean, if they go 5-2 and drop games to the Lions and the Chargers, that's a 10-win team right there.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a good team.
What's the lock?
The lock of the week. Give me none other than the Dolphins over the Jets. It's too easy.
Fairs.
I could have went Chiefs over Raiders. Like the Chiefs gonna put up 55 points and dog walk them.
Oh, I should have. Oh yeah, I said I was keeping it on Sunday. Yeah, I could have. Yeah.
It's the best bounce back game possible for the Chiefs.
Yeah. All right, and then Chris, hots and locks, and then we can get into Summit savings.
All right, buckle up. It's what we call hot takes.
Yeah.
In the place I live, has been so much happiness going on for the Cowboys, and it's time for them to cowboy. It's time for them to do what they do, get everybody's hopes up, and then drop a game and make everybody nervous. The hot of the week is the Commanders beating the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
It's hot for a reason, man.
Sam Howell breakout game version number 2 against QB2 Prescott. It's about to be one of them ones. Yeah. And if CeeDee Lamb doesn't play, maybe. But that's my hot.
Is he questionable at all?
Yeah, he's questionable.
I think by the time
he is.
I don't think he's questionable. I think he logged a limited practice.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. But
here's the thing. I think he's limited in practice because he tweaked his ankle and they don't want to get him hurt because they play on. It says he gets back to he was full today.
I'll tell you this, man. If he has Emmanuel Forbes in front of him, bro, he's gonna do exactly what AJ Brown did to him. I mean, outside of this past game against Carolina, ain't too many guys been hotter than CeeDee Lamb this season. Man. He's been crazy. Really, really good. He's one of them ones.
Hot take. Carolina's secondary and Carolina's defense is not the problem. They are
no. Their secondary is all right. I agree. Their secondary.
They're not all right. They're elite. They're elite.
I was advised to bench Brandon Cooks in fantasy because Panthers defense is like that, I'm afraid. And anyway, Chris has a lock to get through.
Oh yeah, you guys are talking about it too. Lock the Panthers over the Titans. The Titans are one of the worst football teams I've seen in a long time. I know they have more wins than a couple teams, but they are not good. I don't see any place where it's like, ooh, that's good. They got rid of Kevin Byard. They still got Simmons. I like Simmons a lot still. I like Tajay Spears too, so I'll say that. I like those two. But the Titans are unserious. Derrick Henry's fell off the face of the planet. I don't know who this guy is anymore. He doesn't even look the same. They deserve nothing good. Bryce Young, I hope he gets a win. T.J. Stroud's been really good. But like you said, for Herbert over my Ravens, I think Bryce Young needs a win too. So I think I'll choose that one. Panthers over those losers in Tennessee.
Sounds good. All right. We can move on to Summit Savings. I can go first. I actually have I put mine in a little bit earlier. So this one plays for $10, wins you $150 as of right now. As of this recording, this is what the odds are. And this is for some Thanksgiving football. This is a Cowboys versus Commanders parlay. So, friends, family, football, and I don't know an F word for money. But yeah. Okay. So Commanders versus Cowboys parlay for Thanksgiving. $10 wins you $160. I have the Cowboys minus 11.5 on the spread. I have Dak Prescott over 279.5 passing yards. I have Brandon Cooks over 37.5 passing yard or receiving yards. So I have Brandon Cooks over 37.5 receiving yards. CeeDee Lamb over 90.5 receiving yards. Jake Ferguson over 36.5 receiving yards. I see this Cowboys team. It's a match made in heaven. They're home. Ain't gonna be no rain, sleet, snow, none of that. And this Washington secondary is just flat out questionable. Their pass rush has been flat out questionable over the past couple games. They just let Tommy DeVito tear them up. Dak Prescott's one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league right now. CeeDee Lamb's one of the hottest receivers in the league right now. I can't even, like, I might actually change this. I might up the yards. I might go to alternate receiving and passing yards and up it. Like, I think the Cowboys just punch all the overs in this game for the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Yeah. The Cowboys are gonna roll, man. Good football team over there.
Chris, you're up.
I'm hyping them up. So when the Eagles beat them, trust.
All right, bet. So I'm keeping it all to Thanksgiving games. Because I just because there's so many of them, I think I'm just do like a lay on that. So I got Jordan Love under passing yards. I think the Lions defense is gonna keep them in check. Christian McCaffrey over rushing and receiving yards. Tua over passing yards. Tyreek Hill, touchdown. And then last but not least, Amon-Ra St. Brown yards over for the Lions.
I like that.
Pretty
So
chill.
do I. You said over on the yards for Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, every time I
then
look up, he has 80 yards out of nowhere. Like every time I look up.
Yeah, every time him and Brandon Ayuk, bro, I look up, they're just open. They're always open, like by 15 yards.
They're always open, dude. Always.
Who's guarding these two guys? Like they've securely started to make arguments for top 10 receivers in this league, man. They're awesome.
No.
And Danny, you are last but not least, my friend.
Certainly not least with a 9-leg parlay.
Oh my God, hold up.
Sticking to the Thanksgiving Day football games. $10 pays you out at merely $6,000 on the FanDuel. It's actually not that crazy to hear from. You got in the first 12 o'clock game, you got Jaden Reed and Jahmyr Gibbs scoring touchdowns and the Lions winning. In the second game, you got the Cowboys winning and Dak throwing for 275 with CeeDee Lamb accounting for 125 of that 275. And in that third game, the Seahawks winning with CMC and Tyler Lockett scoring touchdowns.
So you got touchdowns and winners.
Touchdowns and winners. And this ticket will make you a winner of $6,000.
Okay. Pretty crazy. I'm not a fan of touchdown scores, like, because, anything can happen, especially with the Eagles, because I've never seen a team get tackled so many times with the one. But, yeah. I mean, yeah, we all play Thanksgiving parlays. Make some money this Thanksgiving with
the bet was just placed. The bet was just placed. We're good.
Yeah, make some money this Thanksgiving with these parlays that we are giving out to you. But with that being said, that's just about everything that we got for y'all. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment down below your favorite Thanksgiving game. Comment down below your favorite thing to do with your family. I don't know. Do something. Comment. If you are a big fan of Justin Herbert, please subscribe. If you're listening to this on an audio platform and you're a big fan of Justin Herbert, leave a 5-star rating, download, head on over to the YouTube, subscribe. Again, anything else to say before you get on out of here?
Nope.
All right. Well, from AP New Freezer, Culture by Migos, DC Comics. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week.